Hello and welcome to this episode of Microchips, and in this episode we are looking at a Binatone Route 66 40 channel CB transceiver that I got as not working. So let's see what's wrong with it. Let's see if we can actually get it to work. So condition is not too bad. I've seen much worse. Yeah, a bit of a clean up should be okay. So let's have a look at the component side. And immediately the speaker wire drops off. But that's okay. And on first inspection, the inside look okay. Printed circuit board side looks okay. Doesn't look like it's been messed with too much. So it's complete. Nothing seems to be missing. '7136 PLL in this one. Okay, doesn't look like it's been touched. That's a good start. It switches on. So let's feed some signal in from my generator, see if it receives. That seems to be receiving. Got a full meter deflection on channel 1. We turn the gain down. Okay, receive seems to be working. Try channel 40. And that seems to be receiving as well. Okay, that's a good start. Let's try transmit. Now as you can see, something it's a little bit strange there. Looks like it's having transmit VCO issues. Let's have a look on the power meter. You can see as we're keying up, it's doing something really bizarre. It is eventually getting to nearly 4 watts, but it's like juddering as it goes up. Is it having trouble? Is it having trouble locking or something? Let's have a look on the frequency counter. So channel 1 and 40 seem to be on frequency. And that's not quite right. 771 on both channels. Okay, we've definitely got something strange going on here. A lot of the channels seem to be transmitting on the same frequency, and then it'll jump to another frequency. and now channel 1 is channel 40. Okay, we definitely have something bizarre going on here. What with this noise on as we start to transmit? The transmit frequencies seems to be all over the place. So let's go back to the RF generator. And sure enough, it is receiving channel 40 on channel 1. Okay, something really bizarre is going on with this radio. As you can see, 39 is the same as 38. So I tried adjusting one of the VCO coils, and it looks like somebody's been there beforehand, and the inner adjustment dropped straight to the bottom and wouldn't come back up to the top. So I had to physically remove the coil and put it back in again. Now this coil does adjust a little bit, but it looks like somebody's really had a go at this coil. So I'm kind of suspecting something around this area. Every time I adjust it, the centre just drops straight through, and I have to take it out to get it back up again. So somebody's definitely had a play with these two VCO coils that are in there. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe we got a bad coil. So freed them off the best I can. It's just when they hit the bottom, they don't come back up to the top again. So let's try an adjustment as per the service manual to see if we can get any sort of lock. And no matter what we do to these coils, nothing happens. Just seems that the VCO is just running all over the place. So I did spend quite a bit of time fiddling with this and got absolutely nowhere. At which point I didn't know what to do, so I shelved it for a while until I saw some faulty ones on eBay. So I thought, go on then, we can take the coils out of one of these, see if we can actually get this radio to work. So here's the two fact are bought off eBay as spares. So this one looks a little bit mutilated, but it does look complete and the coils don't look like they've been messed with. So that'll do good for a parts radio. And the second one, again, looks complete. So maybe we can get 2 radios working. So let's fire one up. Okay, it switches on. So it's a good sign. Front metal works loose, as always. And I've just noticed a massive great big hole in the output transistor. That's not good. And then I noticed a hole in the audio amplifier IC. This looks like a reverse polarity problem. So I think that radio's been blasted to pieces. But the second radio seems to be working. It transmits. Transmits on frequency, apart from the cabinet being really bad. Okay, we have a working radio. We have a one that's been blasted to pieces. So I think we'll use the one that's been, should we say, taken serious damage to try and repair ours. So first off, I'm going to try these 2 suspected coils. See if our fault improves. Or should we say our fault clears. Bit fiddly getting these coils out, but they do come out. Well, they should be quite easy to come out, the amount of times they've actually been out. Seem to have desoldered the little capacitor in the middle. So there's our coils in. Does it solve the problem? No. Now the radio's just stuck on one frequency. So I'll try another adjustment from the service manual. Absolutely nothing. Now you're all probably shouting, change the PLL. Well, I've already changed the PLL. And And this was supposed to be one of the test points on the radio for the VCO, and no, seems to be all over the place. So I'm doing a voltage comparison between two radios, one that works and one that isn't. And there are some voltage differences. But no matter what I do, or what I measure, I just can't get to the bottom of this fault. I know I've just said it, but I did change the PLL to a known working PLL chip. And got nothing. So at this point, I thought, okay, we're going to try and get one of the other radios working. Now I know this PLL works because I've already tried it, and the PLL on this reverse polarity radio has been saved by the regulator. So the PLL does actually work, just the regulator's blown. So I took the regulator out of the one I've just been working on, and there's our PLL 7 volts. So maybe this reverse polarity radio might work. And sure enough, it does. So, change of plan. The radio with the VCO fault, that's going to go to the scrap bin, and we're going to try and get the other two working. So there's the parts out of the one that's been clearly reverse polarityed. So we're taking those parts out of the VCO faulty radio. And brought that one to life. So with the replacement output transistor and audio IC from the other radio, we've got this one working with a healthy 4 watts. Now this was the radio's original PLL chip, and as you can see, it works just perfectly. So the PLL hadn't gone in the radio with the reverse polarity because of the voltage regulator. It had saved it. So the switches at the front are a little bit how you doing. And whilst I was messing with the switches, I noticed the low power wasn't working. And after having a little mess about, we found that one of the transistors that's on the low power circuit was actually faulty and was actually leaky. So we'll change that transistor, and sure enough, lower power works. Dirty control at the front, a little bit of switch cleaner sorts that out. And of course the front metal work just falls off. So we're going to glue that down like we normally do. I'm going to bother cleaning off the old glue, just going to stick it down and I've done with it. So that's our front metal work for one of the radios repaired. And we're going to replace the reverse polarity diode because it wasn't really healthy. As you can see, that's blown to pieces as well. So let's get that replaced. So I've just used the diode out of the other radio. Okay. So our first Binatone Route 66 seems to be operational. Not the one I was hoping to repair, but we have got one repaired. Very quiet around this area at the moment. But I can receive it on my other radio anyway, so we know it's working. So first Binatone done. And that's what was replaced. And I did find the other part of the output transistor. Must have gone with a nice bang. Surprised any of the capacitors didn't leave the board as well. So our second Binatone that was working, just in a really bad way. Somebody's decided to use a wood screw to hold something in. I'm not quite sure. So I've just removed all the sockets from the radio and we'll just transplant from the other radio, so I don't have to fiddle about with all those little decoupling capacitors. So there's our other front off the other radio, and there's both our Binatones in a working condition. So yeah, a strange outcome to this video. Not the radio I wanted to repair, but we got two others repaired, so I want to stick them onto eBay. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.